Hello there everyone, hope you all doing fine. Welcome to this Python tutorial series where I teach you some fundamentals of the Python programming language. We went through some real examples in the previous videos. We talked about if statements and we talked about data types and variables as well. Up to this point we haven't talked about loops, which are important in any programming language that you will hear about in the future. So in this video we're going to go through loops, which are essential for any programmer as they allow you to repeat a block of code multiple times. Python provides several types of loops, of course, each with its own purpose. In this tutorial we will cover the following. These are the while loops, for loops, and the nested loops. So let us get started. I'm gonna start out with the while loops because they are the easiest ones to understand. Let me add a comment here first. While loops. Yeah, so while loops are used when you want to execute a block of code repeatedly as long as a certain condition is true. Yeah, here is an example. Let us define the while loop. You do it this way. You just type the while keyword. You give a condition here. Let us define a count variable first. Let's give it an initial value of 0. Here I'm saying as long as the count variable has a value smaller than, let's say, 5, execute the following code. In our example we're just going to print the following text. Well, count is currently and some space plus count. And since it's an integer, let's convert it into a string. Yeah, this way. What am I saying here? I'm saying that I'm having a count variable here, has a value of 0 initially. Here there is a condition, count is smaller than 5. That means that as long as count is less than 5, the following line is going to get executed. Once count becomes greater than 5, for example 6 or 7 or any number greater than 5, then this following code will not get executed. And for this to work we have to increment the count in every iteration in the while loop. So here after we print the count is currently well, the count value, we're going to be incrementing the count variable by a value of 1. This is how increment by 1. So yeah, I think it's finished. I'm just gonna save the file and come here and execute it. Here you go. I have the count is currently 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 4. Wait, that it is not 5 because I think 5 is not included and we started from 0, so we just have to increment this by 1. And here I'm going to say less than or equal than 5. This way it's gonna go from 1 to 5 inclusive. Repeat this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly what we wanted. Yeah. Well, in this example we define a variable count and initialize it to 0. Which we did earlier. Now we turn that into a 1, and when the while loop gets printed, the value of count gets printed as well and incremented by 1 until it reaches the value of 5 and it's no longer less than 5, and that way this condition will not be met anymore and it's gonna exit the loop. Yeah, so there are other types of loops, of course. There are the for loops. The for loops are the most common ones in Python, besides the while loops. I mean, they are used most of the time, really. Yeah, they are used when you want to iterate over a sequence of values, such as a list or a string. Yeah, let me give you an example so we can understand. There's the old school fruits lists. Let's give it some values here. There's apple, banana, and why not add another one? Yeah, cherries. I love cherries. So Yeah, the way we do this is that we say for, like in the keyword for, we define a variable here, anything, doesn't have to be fruit. You can put an I, which is the standard, or just do fruit like I did here. Well, I'm saying for fruit in the fruits lists, which we defined above, I'm going to do the following with my newly defined variable, which is this fruit over here. Let me just copy it, come here, and let's just print it. Yeah, so what am I saying here? I'm saying that I have a list that contains 3 values, and here I'm iterating through each one of those values, and I'm printing the value here. I'm going to, the first one will be give me apple, the second one will be banana, and the third one will be cherry. And once all the values are iterated over, then the for loop will end, and my code is gonna exit the for block. Yeah, let me save this and comment the first kind of loop we saw. There you go, save, and let's run our file again. And as you can see here, I have three strings printed out on the console: apple, banana, cherry. Let me clear the screen. Yeah, it's pretty simple really. We just defined a list of fruits and used a loop to print each fruit in the list. You know, the fruit variable takes on the value of each element in the list in turn. Yeah. And the third kind of loops which we're going to look on are the nested loops. Nested loops are important, as you'll be doing them most of the time as well. Nested loops. There we go. So yeah, nested loops are used when you want to repeat a block of code multiple times, each time with a different set of values. Yeah, here's an example. We do for I in range. Let's say for example 1, 2, 3. Here I'm just saying that I'm defining a range which will contain values 1 to 3, and yeah, E will be once 1 then 2. I think 3 is not included. 3 is excluded. Yeah, so I may indent by 1, and I'm going to define another loop which is going to be the nested loop inside of the main one. The second one, let's say G for G, and let's give the same range. Alright, range also 1 to 3. And here I'm going to print the value of I and G. This is how it's gonna be. Print I and G. Yeah, so here's what I'm doing. I'm iterating the first loop, and inside its iteration I'm doing another iteration which is another complete loop. The first one will give me I, and the second one will give me G, a value. Here I'm just printing the values in a turn. Yeah, so yeah, 2 nested loops to print all possible combinations, because the first one will be 1, 1, 1, 3, and then 3, 1, 3, 3, I believe. 2, 2, I mean. So yeah, it will print the possible combinations of the number 1 and 2. The outer loop iterates over the values 1 and 2, and the inner loop also iterates the values 1 and 2. Yeah, because it does it over the same values. Yeah, let's see what does this give us. Let me comment this one first. Save, and yeah, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, because first one is 1 fixed, then 1, 2, and then 2, because 3 is not included as we mentioned before, and it's gonna be 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Yeah, clear everything. Yeah, these are the main kind of loops in Python. I believe there are 3. There are other ones maybe, but these are the most important ones, and I'm sure you won't be doing any other ones. I mean, if you just stick with it, then you are good. So yeah, here are the 3 ones, the only ones you're going to need. Yeah, that's it for this tutorial on Python loops. We've covered while loops, for loops, and nested loops, and provided examples of each. Yeah, loops are powerful tools, of course, for any programmer, and mastering them is essential. That's for sure. You know, for writing efficient and effective code. Yeah, I know. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and thank you for watching. Take care.